I know my father, the full book by Neville Goddard, so I've decided to cover a few chapters as some of you already requested me to dive a little bit deeper into this book. And this is one of the most amazing and really underrated books by Neville Goddard, because a lot of people have a lot of hangups when it comes to manifesting, and they don't really focus down on what it is that they should be doing and what it is that they shouldn't be doing. Because in this book, he lays it out very simply. What is consciousness? How do we create a reality? What it is that we need to do, and what it is that we must let go, in a very simple way. So I'm going to read a few lines from the book. And he says, like, this is what he says. So whether you claim yourself to be or not to be, you're actually claiming that you are. Thus a man is ever saying, I am. This knowing that we are, this awareness, is God the Father. The moment this unconditioned awareness becomes conditioned by claiming itself to be this, that, or the other, a differentiation takes place within this formless awareness, and our impersonal Father, our real self, becomes personified as that which we have conceived ourselves to be. So what he's saying basically is that our consciousness, whatever we claim ourselves to be and whatever we really perceive and really conceive ourselves to be, that is what is created in this world, and that is what is reflected in our 3D reality. So just by claiming ourselves to be that what we want to be, we are able to create the desire. So what he means by that, he's saying that we must live in the end as if we already have the desire. So that is what he's specifying it very clearly, that that is what we need to do. We don't need to do endless things. We don't need to constantly think about our desires. Just few times a day, and claim as if you're already there, as if you already are there, you know. That is the thing. And he said, it's like, my Father is spirit, formless, gives form to that which it is conscious of being. But the moment you withdraw your formless reality or consciousness from your conception of yourself, this conception passes away. A conception remains a form reality as long as it is visible, as the invisible reality wears it. So he's saying that if you're conscious of being something and you're not conscious of being the other one, that thing automatically moves out of your reality. So for example, if you have been unhealthy and you keep focusing on that I'm unhealthy, what instead you must do is focus on I am healthy and live as if you already are healthy, and a bridge of incidents will happen which will take you to your healthy state. So you basically don't try to fight bad health. You only take your focus away from that and focus on being healthy. And that is what will create the reality in your life. That is what he focused on. And this is what he says, like, really amazing explanation. As water loses its identity when mixed with things and yet remains untarnished. When it is extracted through distillation, so the awareness, no thing loses itself in things conception of itself, and it remains its immaculate self through spiritual distillation. So like water can be distilled out, right? The same way the conception of itself remains in its immaculate self through spiritual distillation. So you are spiritually distilled, what he's saying, or extracted from a conception of yourself when you cease to be identified with it. So whatever conception of yourself you are identified with, you just need to distill yourself and stop identifying with that. So you don't, what you really need to do, if you're identified with bad health, you need to spiritually distill yourself, extract your conception of yourself from bad health, ill health, to a conception where you are in great health. And it sounds so simple that a lot of people just ignore this. It is actually very powerful by this concept. Like when I started teaching, I remember my first few classes were really bad, like very bad, but I did not identify with it. I imagine in my mind that I'm a great teacher, I'm doing really well, I'm getting praise from my students, from parents, from my manager, from all the people. And within a month, I became so good at my teaching. I got all these tips, ideas, tricks from YouTube, from Google, from my colleagues and all that. I always asked. I never, because I'm a great teacher, so I'm gonna ask. I lived in that inn. And instead of focusing on being this bad teacher, I just switched my focus into being this great teacher. And that is what got manifested in my 3D reality. And I became really, really good. So this is all I did. Like, I'm like spiritually distilling myself, extracting myself from this conception of a bad teacher. I did not identify as like, okay, this lesson did not go well, but I'm not gonna identify with it. I believe I have the skills. I'm all teacher, and I lived in that scene. I only imagined it like few times before going to bed. That's all it took. And when I felt this saturation, like I'm already great, it just manifested. So that's something that we must consider when we're doing this. So he's saying, now that you've found this one to be your father, the eternal now, I am, do not return to the prodigal state to beg for the crumbs of life. Remember your father, that now is the only reality. Claim yourself now, this moment, to be that which you desire to be, regardless of what you claim may be your father. You know, the awareness that is now will give it to you by becoming the thing that you claimed. But you must ask him in this manner. So you basically claim yourself in this moment that I am this person, I have these skills, or I have this money, relationship, health, whatever you desire. And that is how you ask the universe. You already claim it. You're already there. Okay. Be aware of being that for which you ask. No longer look for your father in time and space. Your father is the awareness that is now. I and my father are one, but my father is greater than I. My awareness and that which I am aware of being are one. But I am greater than which I am aware of being. The conceiver will ever be greater than his conception. The Father consciousness is greater than his Son conception of himself. Right? So the Father is the consciousness and the Son is the conception of himself. So basically, with your consciousness, you can just change your conception of yourself. You can change it to a wealthier man, a healthier woman, successful woman, successful mother. Any of these conceptions in your 3D reality will rearrange itself to fit the conception of yourself. That is like, it almost feels like magic. When it happens, it almost feels like unbelievable. But at the same time, you're not really surprised when it happens because you have lived in the end. It is so true in your subconscious mind. And in your, like, it is in your bones that you don't really doubt it. So I really highly recommend you to read this book. I Know My Father. You can just Google it, Neville Goddard, I Know My Father. He read this book in 1960s. And he starts with saying, my father is he whom men call God, but I know my father, and men know not their God. My father and your father are one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. I and my father are one. He starts with that. And one Father made us all to live, move, and have being in him the one. Who then is the one that we have in common? The one and only thing all men have in common is this. All men know that they are. This claim that we are, this awareness is our Father. So he's talking about the awareness. The Father is the consciousness, is the awareness. And from that is where everything stems. And he says, I and my Father are one. So we are one consciousness. We are one awareness. That is what he's talking about. So there is no place that a man can go and not know that he is. If I take the wings of the morning and fly to the uttermost parts of the earth, out thou art there, I know that I am. He's saying, wherever I go, I know I am. It doesn't matter, I'm in Europe, Africa, South America, Asia, wherever I am, I know I am. I am who I am. Even though I change into different forms, he's saying, but my awareness is bigger than all that. I know that I am. Right? So it's an amazing book. I really highly recommend it. I can go on and on about this topic for hours and hours and hours. Just love this topic and the way Neville presents it. And I love sharing my thoughts. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to this channel so I can make more content like this. I really enjoy making such content, and it also reminds me of where I might be faltering, right? And it also reminds me to be systematic. Like, manifesting is actually very systematic. Like, there is a process. And if you follow that process, you can really manifest the life you desire. And it's nothing like anything I've learned in my life. And I come from a very logical scientific background. Like, I was a computer science engineer, so I always felt like things should be logical and all that. But I tried this and it worked. And that is what you really need to do and focus on. So please give this video a like, and I'll see you around for the next video. Until then, take care, and I wish you great success with your manifesting journey. Cheers.